Good morning, everybody. How are we all? I hope you are well. At the moment, it is currently Wednesday, the 24th of May. No, it's not. Wednesday, the 21st of May at 8:14 a.m. And I am recording episode 16 of Itchy Bitchy and Guests. And I am going to speak about today why all midlife women should lift weights. Clapping my hands because I feel so strongly about it. But even if you're not a midlife woman and you're listening to this, which is banging by the way, you should be lifting weights. So everybody should be lifting weights. All right. My youngest client is, I'm just going to go straight in with this, right? I coach CrossFit kids as well. So my youngest client is like 5 years old. And yes, we lift weights, not obviously to the same extent that we do with adults, like not so high reps, not so heavy, but we do lift weights. My oldest client and my ladies that lift is 65, and we also lift weights because lifting weights is never going to do you any harm, especially if you're with a proper coach and you've got good technique. Do you know? So you quite often you need a coach to push yourself, because even I can go to the gym, right? So I train maybe 6, 7 times a week. I can go to the gym and dick about quite easily. So having a coach keeps you accountable, which, to be fair, right, is obviously that will lead me in nicely. Did you see how I smoothly did that there? I totally did not do that smoothly. So the whole point of this podcast, right, is to educate you on why you should all be lifting weights, but it's also because I have been running my ladies that lift class. So ladies 45 plus come into the gym, we lift weights, we get a sweat on, we do cardio. It's pretty much a bit crossfitty for the midlife ladies and older, so age 45 plus. Anyway, we have been training on a Monday at 7:15 in the morning, a Thursday at 7:15 in the morning, and a Saturday at 8:15 in the morning. So 3 sessions per week for an hour. And I am just about to add 2 more in. So I'm going to add a Tuesday and a Friday at 7:15. So 5 sessions per week for my midlife ladies, which is obviously fucking amazing, because my mission, which I started in April 2023, very tentatively by the way, because I didn't actually believe that ladies would want to come and train with me, and we've now got 30 ladies on the books. Like 30 ladies, age 45 to 65. You can be older, by the way. It just happens that my oldest lady at the moment is 65. So 30 ladies, age 45 plus, in the gym consistently 3 times a week, like building muscle, getting a sweat on, being awesome, learning new skills, climbing ropes, jumping on boxes, walking upside down on their hands. I mean, like, what the fuck? It's actually amazing. And over and above that, they've actually built themselves a community. And yes, do you know, everybody's like, oh my God, you're doing so amazing with your ladies that lift. But do you know, they maybe come to train with me, and they come because they either know me or they follow my socials and they like what I say, or they like the way that I say it and they believe what I say, because I'm not a bullshitter. But they effectively stay. Yeah, I get they wouldn't stay if they didn't like me, but they effectively stay because they've built themselves a community. They'll support each other, they help each other out, they go for coffee together, they run together, they walk together, they do social things together, like drink alcohol or go to lovely places. We went to Jupiter Artland last weekend, which one of the ladies had organised. One of the other ladies has a boat, so we're going to her boating club end of season party day thing. I've organised a summer social, so we're going to meet at the Falkirk Wheel, and we're going to walk along the canal to Linlithgow and go to a little bistro for lunch just outside Linlithgow. So that's an 11-mile trek. We've got Edinburgh Cocktail Week booked in the diary. I'm trying to think if we've got anything else. We've just done a photo shoot. I've just got the group photo back actually, so I'm going to share that later today. It's amazing. Some of the ladies did it. So the challenge was to come into the gym and get your photograph taken showing more skin than you normally would. So if you would normally wear like a t-shirt and leggings, then the shorts would be ideal, or maybe a vest, or if you normally wear a vest and a bra top, if you normally wear shorts, then shorter shorts. Not like anything pornographic, just a bit more skin. We're just practicing like loving our body and building some self-confidence and some self-belief and getting used to the way we look now, and actually embracing it and realizing that if we're going to lift weights, then we're not really chasing the figure that we had when we were 18 or the scale weight that we had when we were 21. We're just loving ourselves for who we are now and just basically being the best version that we can be of ourselves. Yeah. And also, so 3 hours a week, soon to be 5 hours a week, it's about setting that time aside for you. So we all know it, but it's hard to do, is that you can't fill from an empty cup, and you can't give to everybody else when you're not looking after yourself, because you just end up feeling neglected, resentful, tired, lethargic, and not managing your stress in healthy ways. Like we'll sit and scroll on Insta, we'll drink far too much alcohol, like you can come home from your work and have a couple of glasses of wine. Right, if you're doing that 3 to 4 to 5 times a week, then that's not healthy and it's not managing your stress. So learning to put some time aside for you, where all you have to really think about is lifting that barbell, or doing the calories on the machine, or lifting the dumbbell, or jumping on the box. That's all you have to think about. It literally clears your brain of everything else. You're also surrounded by women that are in the same boat. Do you know, we're all busy. We're absolutely all busy. And you're surrounded and supported by women that are in the same boat. Do you know, and if you learn a new skill, you get a cheer and you get a high five. And if you try a new skill and don't quite manage it yet, you still get a cheer and a high five. Honestly, it's so positive. The atmosphere, it's amazing. It is, it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, lifting weights. Sorry, I digressed there. Also, I've had a bit of a shitty morning. So at the moment, it's 8:22 now. So I've been up since 3 o'clock. Couldn't sleep. Don't know what's going on. I did record this podcast yesterday, by the way, and it never uploaded properly. So I don't know if I was thinking about that, but I don't think that was stressing me out, because it's literally half an hour of me chatting, do you know, which I'm obviously very happy to do. So anyway, woke up at 3 o'clock, had a banging sore head, had a bit of a sore tummy as well, actually. Yeah, anyway, just got up, went downstairs, sat on the big squidgy recliner chair thing with a blanket over me. I made a cup of tea, actually, took my book with me, read my book, fell asleep. And then I had bizarre dreams that, first of all, I slid off a cliff. So I was on top of a cliff thing. It wasn't a cliff, it was more like a big slope of rocks. And I found a Nintendo Game Boy. I don't know where this came from, right? Found a Nintendo Game Boy, so I went to get it. Anyway, I slid off the cliff thing, slope thing, and landed in the water. But I also had a pair of riggers on. Do you know, like workman rigger boots? Also don't know where that came from. Anyway, I landed on my feet, so that was cool. But this water and the Game Boy and the mountain thing was in a friend's, this was a dream, by the way, if you're just listening halfway through it, was in a friend's house. So she's got a big house and a big garden. I actually don't know in real life who this friend is, but I am reading a book about big houses and big gardens. Anyway, and I was cooking lunch and I was having a drama because there was 30 people coming and I hadn't decided what I was going to have. So I was a bit stressed. So I don't know where that's from. Anyway, I decided I was going to make moussaka. So now I obviously in real life want to make moussaka. So I'm going to do that over the next couple of weekends just because I had it in Greece and it was lovely. Anyway, that was just random. Anyway, so I fell asleep on the chair, sorry. But then I woke up. And do you ever fall asleep and your ears bent over, and when you wake up it feels like your ears either fell off or it's just like so bloody sore? Anyway, that was my drama this morning. So anyway, I'm a bit anxious, but you know, this podcast needs done, so I've just came on and I'm just chatting, as you can hear, by the way. So I'm a bit anxious. My head is absolutely fucking banging. I'm on my 4th bottle of water. So my fourth 500ml bottle of water. I have had a couple of coffees, to be fair. I will take some paracetamol later if my head still hurts. I've had my breakfast, which was very nice. That was baked oats of the cherry almond flavour. It was very nice. I've got some, I've booked myself into a Pure Gym class actually. I've never been to a class at Pure Gym. It's called Mind. And apparently it's based on yoga, some kind of sports physiotherapy thing. So I'm thinking it's going to be a bit yoga-like because it says it's going to make you more flexible. So I'm going to go and do that because I'm a bit sore. So I'm going to do that anyway, I think. But the day could all go to shit. Anyway, lifting weights. Sorry, I digress loads there. So women, right, like I said before, right, if you're not a woman and you're listening to this, that's amazing, right? You should still be lifting weights. Everybody should be lifting weights, all right? As we get older, we our muscle mass declines, right? So later in life, we have muscle loss, right? It's actually called sarcopenia, which is a word. It's quite a big word in America, actually. It's not that big a word over here, but it is getting more prominent and more people are speaking about it. So sarcopenia, go and Google it. And you'll get the proper thing. But it's pretty much muscle loss as we get older, right? So lifting weights retains the muscle that you have, but also if you lift weights progressively, as in heavier, not necessarily each time you go to the gym because that would be ridiculous, but over the course of a 6 week or an 8 week or a 12 week plan, all right, you will actually build muscle as well. So we want to retain the muscle that we've got, but we also want to build muscle to counterbalance the muscle loss, all right? Also, this does, because, so the stronger we are, the less chance we have of falling, which is good, all right? And the more chance we have of keeping our mobility. So if we fall, we might break a bone, right? Our bone density gets less also as we get older. And our bones also take longer to heal, which is why there's a lot of elderly people. I actually know quite a lot of elderly women over the course of my life that have fallen and broken a hip and they've went into hospital and they've actually never got back out because they weren't strong enough or fit enough to get their bones to rebuild, kind of thing. So it's quite serious. It is quite serious, all right? So we want to keep that. Things like mobility, we also want to keep our mobility. So we want to keep our joints strong, so that they can continue to work for us, so that we can be independent for as long as possible, like get ourselves on and off the toilet, get ourselves actually off the floor if we fall. That comes down to mobility and strength. So we want to do all of that, all right? We do lose muscle strength, right? And we do lose bone strength as we get older, but the menopause and the perimenopause, because of the drop in hormones, can accelerate that even quicker. So guys also will lose, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. So men also will lose bone strength, sorry, but the rate that women lose it is quicker because of the drop in hormones. So we want to keep our bones and our joints strong, which is where weightlifting comes in, right? Your cardiovascular health as well, right? So when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s, right, it was all leg warmers and it was all high intensity exercise. Nothing wrong with high intensity exercise, by the way. I love a hit. I used to do body pump. I used to do Reebok step, which is hilarious because I was shit at it, but it was still good fun. I was like, I'm sure a lot of yous were the one up the back of the class that was totally going the wrong way all the time. But anyway, that's what that was all about when I was younger. There was no, like, a woman wouldn't dare walk into the weightlifting gym, and definitely not the free weight area. That was like fact. Even in the 2000s and the 2010s, that was quite unusual. So yeah, it was all cardiovascular, right? I used to run to punish myself. Absolutely. I used to go home from my work, right? I didn't particularly like my job. My relationship that I was in at the time was absolutely shitty. Marriage. I used to go home and drink a couple of glasses of wine, sometimes a bottle of wine, sometimes more than a bottle of wine, eat a pizza for dinner, whether it was a supermarket pizza or go to the takeaway shop, wake up the next morning, obviously slightly rough, and then I'd go out and run 9-10 miles. Like, first of all, I would struggle to run 9-10 miles now, sober, with a decent diet in me. So I have no idea how I managed that. I was obviously determined to punish myself. Right, but it was a vicious circle. So because you've had a couple of glasses of wine and shitty food the night before, you go out and you do your run and you punish yourself. You go to your work or whatever, come back, and then the whole cycle starts again. But because you've been out for that run, you're like, oh, I'll just reward myself with some more wine and some more pizza. Right, and then it's a vicious circle. So it's not good. Anyway, that was cardiovascular. So I still do cardio. I still run. I run 5k once or twice a week. Sometimes I just go out and run a mile and see how fast I can do it. It doesn't have to be distance. And then there's all the machines that we use at the gym. There's like the assault bike, the bike air, the ski machine, the rower. There's skipping. There's loads of cardio that we do, but also lifting weights in the context of the gym, like what we do in Ladies That Lift, which is effectively CrossFit. Lifting weights, so doing high reps at a lighter weight, is technically cardio as well. So it's not just about running. If you want to run, right? Because I'm going to say something later about busting some perimenopause and training myths. But if you want to run. The problem usually is that you maybe do it extremely, so you'll run like every day, which obviously we need rest days, or you'll do it as a punishment, which mentally is not good. So we do want cardio. The recommended guidelines are lifting weights 4 times a week to 1 session of cardio, which means that you're mixing it up. Because obviously when you lift weights, you're going to use a different part of your body probably every day. And then you can do your cardio session as well. So if you like doing cardio, do cardio. I love spin. It's awesome. Right, manage your menopause symptoms. So lifting weights helps manage your menopause symptoms, partly because it makes you feel fucking awesome. Right, and when we feel fucking awesome, I do not feel awesome today. When we feel fucking awesome, right, it makes us deal with things better, and it's harder to get the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? So when we don't feel awesome, when we feel shitty, when we're not sleeping, when we're filling our body full of shite, when we're eating too much alcohol, when we're not moving, when we're not exercising, all right, we have less tolerance levels. We can't deal with the same shit that we can deal with if we feel awesome. So you'll have more rage, you'll have more anxiety, you'll have more fear. And again, it's a vicious circle. So lifting weights makes you feel awesome, and it generally does help you manage your perimenopause symptoms because we can dramatise things less. You know us women like to dramatise things. I'm a top dramatiser, by the way. But it can also directly help lessen your perimenopause symptoms, right? So it'll improve your sleep. Bad sleep is a recognised menopause symptom, all right? So it'll improve your sleep. It will improve your overall mood. There is scientific evidence that directly correlates exercise and lifting weights with less depression and overall an improved mood, which is obviously good, all right? It also helps with hot flashes. Now, the evidence here is a bit sketchy, but they reckon, they've never actually 100% proven it yet, but they reckon that because you exercise and get sweaty, so you've got an elevated heart rate and you get sweaty like 3 to 4 to 5 times a week, when you have a hot flash and get sweaty, right, it's not such a drama. There is an actual, I'm sure there's a more technical description, but that's effectively what it means, all right? So if you're used to being hot and sweaty through exercise, when you have a hot flash, you can generally deal with it. It's not such a trauma. Like if you never get hot and sweaty, and then, oh my God, your body temperature goes from 0 to 100 literally in 2 seconds, you're not going to deal with that very well. So there is a direct connection there. It does help, all right? Mental health, I'm sure we all know, right? I am not preaching to you. Yous are all educated women, right? None of yous are stupid. None of yous are stupid. Yous are all educated. You all know that the correlation between exercise and less depression is there. It's actually true, right? And it is to do with taking time for yourself and making yourself feel better. You are less likely to be depressed or have depression. All right, so keep up the weightlifting. If you're not doing it yet, get it done. Absolutely. Right, reduced risk of injury as well. Exactly what I said before. It improves your mobility. It improves your stability. Which in turn gives you less chance of falling, which in turn gives you less chance of breaking bones or joints, etc., etc. All right. There is no guarantee. There are no guarantees in life, you know that, other than death. There is no guarantee that if you keep fit and if you lift weights, you will not die early, or you will not become the owner of a disease that's going to kill you, but there is less chance. And surely you want to do everything you can to make your chances as high as possible for living on this earth as long as possible. I certainly do, 100%. All right, reduce the risk of injury. Improve body composition. Again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about running as a punishment and loads of cardio. It used to be believed that you had to do cardio to drop body fat. All right, you will actually burn more calories lifting weights. Kid you not. All right, you can also change your body composition. All right. So all of this, do all of this together, and what have we got? You've improved the quality of your life. Surely that's what we want. Of course it is. Right. I've got some myths for you. So lifting weights, all right, and cardio specifically. So there's a lot of shite out there about perimenopausal women and what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. And apparently you shouldn't do cardio because it spikes your cortisol, all right? In day-to-day life, right, across the course of your life, we want your cortisol to be spiked, all right? There is no badness that comes out of spiked cortisol from exercise. The problem comes when your cortisol levels are consistently elevated. All right, which basically means you're living in constant stress. So if you think about what I said earlier about my previous life, you're in a job that you don't particularly like, all right, you get out in the morning, you dread going to your work, you're stressing and thinking about your work before you even get there. All right, you've maybe got a shitty boss or shitty work colleagues, or you just actually don't like your job and it bores the shit out of you, or it's too difficult, or for whatever reason, it's just not for you. Right, you then come out of that work situation, go home, and you've got a shitty home life as well for whatever reason. All right, that's pretty much you living in a constant elevated level of stress. All right, which means your cortisol levels are constantly elevated, which means you will not deal with things properly. You will not manage your stress because you can't manage your stress because you don't know how to, because you're just constantly in this negative mood, all right? Which means you're going to do things like not exercise, sit on the sofa, watch telly for 5 hours every night, fill your body full of shite and drink too much alcohol, all right? That's going to keep your cortisol levels elevated. You're going to have more chance of getting high blood pressure, hardening of the arteries, heart attacks, etc., pulmonary thingamabobbers. Right? It's not cool. You're going to die early. All right. So spikes in cortisol due to exercise. The benefits of exercise far outweigh any negative things that people say about exercise. All right. Again, if you Google that, you'll get a proper scientific explanation with big words. All right. I don't do big words or scientific thingamabobbers, but I just put it into my own words. So right, so cortisol, spikes in cortisol. Spikes in cortisol are absolutely cool, providing you're not constantly living in a state of stress with constantly elevated cortisol levels. It's a bit like the whole myth of, oh, you're perimenopausal, you're going to get type 2 diabetes. No, you fucking are not. The only way you will get type 2 diabetes is to consistently overeat highly processed food. All right, that doesn't mean if you have pizza once a week that you're going to get type 2 diabetes, because if you're sorted your diet out for the whole other 20 meals of the week, all right, you will be absolutely fine. It's the word consistently that you need to worry about. All right, if you're consistently doing all the good stuff, you'll be totally cool. If you're consistently overeating highly processed food, you will not be cool. If you are consistently not exercising and sitting on the sofa for 4 or 5 nights of the week, you will not be cool. All right. Also, another thing that I hear quite a lot is, oh, I can't lift weights because I don't want to get bulky. Like, seriously, do you actually think you're going to accidentally turn into a bodybuilder? I mean, come on. I tried for years to get accidentally ripped, right? It never happens. I have consciously tried to get ripped for the last 2 years. I am not ripped. I still do not have a six pack, and that is training 6 to 7 times a week. 627, not 67, and sorting my diet out, all right? You are not going to get accidentally bulky. Lift some weights. You will be absolutely fine. I promise you. The other one is, I don't want to pack muscle on, I just want to get toned. Guess how you get toned? Can you see my guns, by the way? Look. Guess how you get toned? You need to drop the layer of body fat that's hiding your muscles. Like I said, right, I don't have a six pack. I used to want a six pack, and then I discovered when I did my nutrition coaching training how little you actually have to eat to get said six pack, and I'm just not willing to have that kind of pressure in my life. So, yes, I would like a flatter stomach. Yes, I would like the body fat to go away from my tummy, and it is getting there, but I'm never going to have a six pack, and that's okay. So, if you want to be toned, you need to lift weights and sort your diet out so that you lose the layer of body fat that's covering your muscles. We've all got a six pack, by the way. It's just that most of us, it's hidden under some fluff. All right. So lift weights, ladies. All right, and men too, actually. But my ladies that lift, from Monday the 2nd of June, we will be training 5 times a week. Well, we will have 5 sessions a week, which you can come to as many or as little as you want over the course of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, 7:15 to 8:15. Just in time for you to get finished, have a shower and go to your work. Think how awesome you'll feel. And Saturday at 8:15. And after the Saturday session, some of the ladies usually go for coffee as well. So they take over Starbucks in Falkirk and have some chats. So if you'd like to come along to my ladies at Lift and you can get to Falkirk, please drop me a little message. You can find me on all my socials as Coach Caris, Facebook, Instagram. I am on a YouTube channel as Coach Caris, and obviously I am here in my podcast. So lift weights, ladies. I kid you not, it will keep you on this planet for longer with a good quality of life, independent, strong, and fucking awesome.